Content warning. We have fun and laugh a lot during the process of making this podcast, but some of the movies we watch have adult situations. That means we may use language that isn't suitable for children, as well as topics that could be triggering for some. We want you to enjoy our podcast, and that means taking care of yourself and feeling safe. Thanks for listening.
Nancy, this is a big deal.
Okay, anyway, hi.
Hello.
Here's the thing we're doing.
We are doing a podcast. You're welcome.
Here's the thing no one asked
No
for.
one's doing it. No one's thought of it.
Have you guys heard of this new format?
No one's making a podcast. No one's making a podcast about watching movies.
Mm-mm.
No one's doing a podcast with their partner.
Nope.
that they've been in lockdown with for a year.
Did you watch that video I sent yesterday? The newer Chris Fleming that's about normies being creatives now?
Yeah, I felt personally attacked. Chris Fleming personally attacks me on the
regs.
on a daily basis.
Okay, hi, my name's Keith.
I'm Z.
And for whatever reason, we decided we wanted to talk about Harry and the Hendersons.
No, well, yeah. I mean, yes, that's what we're talking about
Fucking
this time.
yes. I stand corrected.
Okay, but like, we're not going to have like a weekly podcast about Harry and the Hendersons.
This is the Harry and the Hendersons weekly pod. Welcome to Bigfoot country.
Welcome to hell.
The year of hell. The year of hell. In hell. For hell, by hell. Okay, anyway. Here's some fun facts. Some basic data about
basic data. Okay.
Harry and
I just want to say, we watched Harry and the Hendersons the other night. Like, we're not just obsessed with Harry and the Hendersons.
It's true.
I've been like begging Keith to watch Harry and the Hendersons for weeks now. And he's been like, nah. But when I said, what if we did a podcast after what if we did a podcast and talked about it, and he was like, oh hell yes. So that's how this was just
that
a
doesn't
ruse.
sound like me.
This is just a ruse to get Keith to watch Harry and the Hendersons.
Yes. And from my side of things, this is a ruse to get you onto a microphone.
Okay. All right.
Which is so hard to do. You never want to be documented or have any representation of yourself out in the world.
No one's heard of me before. I just French kissed this microphone on accident.
Get it.
We're in love now.
Harry and the Hendersons was released in 1987.
It's true. It's a film.
It stars John Lithgow
Hubba hubba.
as George Henderson, patriarch of the Henderson clan. Melinda Dillon as Nancy, Mama Henderson, a.k.a. Mama Hen. Margaret Langrick as the eldest offspring, Sarah. Joshua Rudoy as Ernie Henderson. And the late great Kevin Peter Hall as Harry.
It's Dad!
Are you sure?
Yep.
Are you really sure?
Really sure.
Remember, you were sure before.
Nancy, I'm not a doctor, but it has no pulse, it's not breathing, and it's cold as a popsicle. Believe me, honey, whatever it is, it's definitely dead.
God, Harry, like that movie was such an impression on me as a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, mainly because, it's just it was so
Oh, wait.
funny. What?
Real quick.
Okay.
Directed by William Deere. Written by William Deere, Bill Martin,
Martin.
and Ezra D. Rappaport.
Why did so many people need to write on it?
One never knows.
Okay, but I was like, when we were watching it, and I was like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to like verbalize this. It's not going to make any sense. But like, it's a very
Perfect for this medium.
Dick. It's going to be like, it's a very far-fetched movie, right? Like the whole premise is like, oh, we'll hit Bigfoot
Having
with our
lived
car.
in the Northwest, I don't feel that way.
We hit Bigfoot with our car and we brought him home.
It's the Northwest, not the Northeast.
Let me be who I am.
Park your Bigfoot in Harvard Yard.
I'm very influenced by Stephen King films and novels, so
We're doing this podcast is actually imagining Harry and the Hendersons set in Castle Rock or Derry, Maine.
Okay. Jesus Christ. So I thought they did it like it's so ridiculous, like, but you don't really think about how ridiculous it is. Like so many things are going on. Like I felt like they did really well with like suspending the disbelief. Like you're just like, which I was kind of impressed by for an 80s movie that's like just ridiculous. It's about Bigfoot that just smiles a bunch and is like and like to be able to just like you get kind of sucked in. You're like, okay, cool. Bigfoot is naked walking around town and kissing John Lithgow on the TV.
Burying his friends.
I also like
I just want to say there's some real inconsistencies about Harry's intelligence level.
I just like that. I like that it seems that no one knew what a vegan or a vegetarian was.
That part tracked.
I mean, clearly Harry is a pescatarian. He eats fish.
Good catch.
Yeah, he eats fish, but
Good catch. See what I did?
oh
By
God.
accident?
I wish he hadn't. No. No one can see you not in agreement.
That's true.
On a podcast, no one can see you not.
On our podcast. Oh, jeez.
Welcome to morning.
Derry, Maine.
Welcome to our every morning. This is literally just what every morning is like for us. We spend an hour talking about Harry and the Hendersons
Every morning. It's our morning ritual.
But,
Put on the coffee.
God damn it. I'm not gonna make it.
Okay. I'll say some things while you're I neglected to mention Rick Baker did the creature design and special effects make it. What? Why is that fucking funny? It's a big part of the movie.
I don't think I mean,
You may know Rick Baker's work from such other films as American Werewolf in London.
Oh, okay.
Which is noted not only for being a top-notch story, but the transformation from man to wolf is one of the most detailed and convincing, in my opinion. Rick Baker also did the design and operation of the aliens in Men in Black.
Oh, shit. That's cool.
The little grays and presumably like the pug or whatever.
We were like, once we started the movie, I remembered that as a kid, and you'll be surprised and also not surprised to find this out. because of my unique ways. I, as a child, was fucking terrified of John Lithgow.
Oh, really?
So terrified of him. And this part won't surprise you. It's because he was in. I saw him in The World According to Garp, where he plays a trans woman. Am I wrong in that?
You're not.
Okay. And so I, as a
Also,
kid,
that's apparently like his film debut, pretty much.
No,
I mean, not exactly, but like as
That's
far as a
wild.
big budget movie.
I saw that movie as I want to rewatch that one. We'll have to rewatch.
Oof.
Yeah, it's not going to be good, but yeah, like, closeted Z seeing any kind of queer, like, especially to that degree of like queerness. He's dressed like a woman, and
For longtime listeners of Z's existence, you'll know that men performing as women, either in drag or as trans women, in films, is a early root. Would one say?
yes, I am a queer individual for anyone.
Spoiler.
Yeah. Spoiler alert. I'm very queer.
Oh yeah, we should say there will be spoilers to the film as well as personal spoilers.
Sorry we didn't start with that. Who gives a shit? But
Oh yeah,
Sorry,
Bigfoot is in this movie.
sorry. I hope
Heads up.
Spoiler alert. I'm gay, and also I hope you don't mind the ending of Harry and the Hendersons getting spoiled for you.
Can you imagine what what actually is there to spoil?
I listened to this podcast and I was pissed because they spoiled the ending of Harry and the fucking Hendersons.
Yeah. I want my money back.
Anyway,
Dear Apple Podcast.
So John Lithgow played a trans woman, and when I was younger, like anybody that was like queer, in any regards, just scared the shit out of me because I grew up like very,
Because of
very
feelings.
Well, because of feelings, yes, but because I grew up in a very Christian fundamentalist kind of upbringing, and so like that stuff was like terrifying. But it was terrifying because in my brain I was like, "You're one of them," and I knew it, so I was like, "No."
Yeah.
But like, of course, that in what ended up happening is all those people that as a kid scared the shit out of me because I was either attracted to them or because they portrayed someone queer. As an adult, I'm just very sexually attracted to them. So like terrified of John Lithgow as a kid, and now I'm like, would do.
Yeah, which brings us to the secret title and mission statement of this series potentially is John Lithgow attractive?
I mean, yeah, I would say.
Oh, okay, series over. Thanks.
No, I mean,
Never mind.
Doable. I mean, he's like he's 7 feet tall. He's 7 feet tall.
6 feet 4 inches.
You know where that 4 inches is.
As I said while we were watching the movie, it's from the neck to the tip of his skull. Just to put it in perspective, I'm like, that's 3 feet of legs and 3 feet of torso.
Just to put it
In perspective. You ever notice?
George, he's coming back!
Stall him!
I can't! How?
I don't know, but show him the pasta maker!
So I was, I was like very scared of John Lithgow as a kid when I would watch this, but I loved the movie and I was like, oh, I'm so scared of him. And then as an adult, I'm watching it and I'm like, hubba, hubba.
We're talking about Harry?
Yeah, John Lithgow.
No, I mean, which movie?
Yes, Harry and the Hendersons.
Not Garp.
I haven't seen Garp since I was a child. So
I'm real worried to watch it.
yeah, it's not gonna be good. It's not gonna be good, but I'm curious. like John Lithgow, I don't think he's not Garp, right?
Correct. That's Robin Williams.
Oh,
Portrays Garp.
fuck. I've been trying to remember. For some reason, I thought it was Mr. Holland's old penis. Like, what's his name?
Richard Dreyfuss?
Richard Dreyfuss. Yeah. Yeah. This entire podcast is going to be us talking about movies,
but none of the movies that we.
But it's going to be completely encased in Office and Bob Burger quotes. So
probably true.
Get your decoder ring
Probably
out.
True.
I wanted to. Well, first I want to go back to the pescatarian. Like, they seem to not know what a vegetarian was, because they refer to Harry as being a vegetarian. They call him a vegetarian even though he eats fish. And I understand it's because people don't understand what not eating meat means. But the fact that it was wild to me that Harry gets so upset at like the furs and the
the mounted heads.
Yeah, the mounted
Deer
heads
heads
everywhere and like just crushed over it. And then simultaneously, like literally at the same time, when he's going through their house and like finding their things and being like, how dare you have killed an animal, he's going into their fish tank and just pulling out the fish and swallowing them whole and being
Also
like,
eating the shit out of
like fish sandwiches.
Sarah's orchid and houseplants and everything else.
He doesn't eat it. He puts it in his mouth and then he spits it out.
That's right.
Is this a homosexual metaphor? I thought I liked women.
If you have to ask. Did I mention that Kevin Peter Hall, who plays Harry or is in the Harry suit, also that very same year could be seen on screen as the Predator in Predator.
That's pretty interesting, though.
He also reprised the role of Harry in the television series.
Yes, it was a fucking television show for 3 seasons.
Yeah, apparently somewhat successful.
What? Like, I knew, or I'd forgotten that there was a TV series. I feel like I knew that to some degree. I don't know that I'd ever watched it. I mean, like, maybe, but yeah, I was like, oh, this probably didn't even last a full season. 3
full seasons.
Full fucking seasons of Harry and the Hendersons TV show. And it was like on from like 91 or something to like 93.
It didn't start until the early 90s?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
that's pretty wild. Pretty wild.
I'm something that struck me while watching Harry and the Hendersons, I was struck with this thought. How many, and I feel like this is a serious discussion. I feel like I want to actually, I don't want this to just be something that I hypothesize and then just gets me. I want to discuss this. How many erotic fanfics have been written in regards to like George and Harry fucking? Like, there have to be. Like, I think obviously George is in these fanfics. Obviously George has to be the bottom. Harry is like maybe Harry might be the bottom, but that would just seem weird, right? So I think there's probably, if you look out there, there's probably going to be, I mean, I haven't done the research because I'm scared.
I thought you prepared for this.
No, I didn't. I didn't prepare well enough, I guess.
I came up with I forgot about this.
Mm-hmm.
Theory that Harry might be D.B. Cooper. D.B. Cooper is the person, I watched a documentary not too long ago. He stole a bunch of money and then hijacked a plane and then just jumped out the back of it.
Oh, okay.
Never to be found.
Was D.B. notoriously
And it was in the Seattle area. So
Oh wow. Okay. Is
he's just been living off grid.
off grid. I thought you said he's been living off of cred, like off his own cred.
His own recognizance. Resting on his laurels as a famous thief in the Cascades.
Oh, you had a lot of thoughts on Seattle traffic, the traffic scenes.
I had one thought,
which
was, why is there so much traffic in 1987? Seattle. I don't know. I wasn't there.
That's true. You seemed really upset
I
about
was
it, though.
there.
You were very upset about it.
15 years later, and there was traffic then. But pre-grunge, I mean, come on, guys.
They hadn't even heard of Nirvana yet. How could they have traffic there?
A lot of the IMDb, well, not a lot of it. Most of that,
As you'll know.
most of the IMDb trivia was about what kind of rifles everybody
Oh
had
my God. As usual.
and the cars.
If there's a car or a gun in a fucking movie, IMDb is like, hey, guess what? Let's have 3 different trivia facts about the one gun that was in this that was probably just like a prop or something. Oh God, it's horrible. I mean, it's cool. It's cool if you like guns, I guess.
IMDb supports First Amendment rights, First Amendment expression of Second Amendment rights, or something. Look, I'm not a constitutional lawyer. Lay off.
Oh no.
No, but there was some trivia about how at the end,
Mm-hmm.
when they're returning Harry to his where they found him, about what freeways they were actually on versus what the sign said.
Oh shit. I will say though, I will say this. I won't hold back. The fucking scene where Harry rips the bumper off the car
And throws it into
and
the
throws
pool.
it in the pool.
neighbor's pool.
Little Ernie says, "See what we'll be missing?" Oh God, slayed me. Oh my God.
That was good.
Yeah.
And 100% Louise Belcher.
Right.
line.
Hungry? We're gonna have a little party.
Yeah, a goodbye party.
Plan B. No problem.
See what we're gonna be missing?
So good. Oh, I think like Lil Ernie was right. Was it Ernie?
I think so.
Okay. He was the he's so funny. But the sister made an impact on. No, I'm not saying like, oh, she was like 15. I'm not saying she was like hot or something.
That's not what I was implying by making a
saying-
face.
She made an impact on me. Like, I think not that kind of impact. Cause Harry's like in their house and destroying things, and they're all fucking like, oh my God,
Freaking out.
and he grabs her orchid, and she's like, "What?" And she's just like, "Don't you dare touch my flower!" And that just like her being like so like pushy, and her just being like she's never like she has like zero chill. It definitely made an impression on me as a kid. Like sometimes
Speaking truth to power. You know?
sometimes I watch these
Standing
movies.
up to bullies.
Watch these movies that I saw as a kid, and I'm like, yeah, this did something to me. This made me think.
I was gonna keep that flower for the rest of my life. And you ate it! I don't care how big, ugly, and smelly you are. You just can't go around eating other people's corsages. That was a bad thing you did. A bad thing. Do you hear me? Even if you are an animal, you just can't go around acting like one in this house.
Who, me?
You're just on your phone while I'm talking about this, and
No,
I'm
I was
just like,
catching up with emails. You know how I do. I was reading the plot synopsis for Bedtime for Bonzo because
what the fuck?
that's the film that the family. Well, it shows up a couple times in the movie. It's on the TV. Like,
Oh, really?
when Harry sat down in front of the TV.
Oh.
Starring Ronald Reagan.
Oh, is that the monkey one?
Uh-huh.
Oh, the monkey one.
The
You know.
monkey one. Project X with Ferris Bueller. What's his name? Matthew Broderick.
Matthew Broderick. I was going to
Jesus.
get there. I've told you this, but you probably won't remember.
Sounds like me.
When I was a child, my sister had that poster for that movie hanging over her bed. And I used to jump on it was like a low ceiling. It was like one of those.
I do remember you telling me.
And
this.
I used to
Believe
jump
it or
on the
not.
bed to kiss Matthew Broderick
Where?
on the mouth.
Oh.
Well, it was just his torso. It wasn't. There weren't many options.
Kissed him right on the chimpanzee. Horrible. Okay. That movie's depressing as fuck, as I recall.
I don't remember it. I don't know why. I don't think any of us had ever seen that movie. I don't know why they had that
She
poster.
just found the poster somewhere.
Yeah, that sounds like us. We were really poor and
Yeah.
we didn't have much. So if we found something that was like
Yeah, totally relate.
of the, like, oh, this is a thing that's happening now. Let's just wear this shirt or do this thing, even though
Here's something
no
that I recognize that is
from
in pop culture.
Yeah. That's what being poor in the 80s, early 90s was like.
I'm sure it's very different now.
Well, oh God, I can't even imagine. Do you ever think about, about like being a teenager now? Oh God, I couldn't. I just couldn't.
I do, and I shiver.
Okay, but so the movie ends.
Oh,
I mean,
spoiler warning.
spoiler
And-
warning.
Alert for spoilers warnings.
Content ahead. No, the movie ends and like. Jesus, this podcast is gonna be great to listen to.
Like most.
So I love how they say goodbye to Harry. First of all, John Lithgow punches Harry in the face to get
That's right.
and Harry keeps being like, and rubbing his cheek where John Lithgow hit him, like, remember that? You remember?
Wait, I thought Harry was the top.
That's why he's like, you remember? You're gonna have to do a lot to make up for this. No, but he gets like hit in the face. Like this dude's like trying to off him, he's like this poacher or whatever is trying to catch Harry. He's throwing a dog. There's so many things are happening. And then when they finally, like, when it all gets resolved and they're finally like goodbye, then all these other Yetis just magically appear in the woods. It's like what you thought was a tree.
Escort him?
What you thought was a tree stump was actually just a baby Yeti, and it's just like, what the fuck? And that's how it ends. But then it ends like that, which is wild. And then the credits happen.
Yes, I wrote this down in my notes as soon as I saw it. In the opening credits, there's a reference to a song. There's a song credit. And I'm like, that's a fucking red flag. If it's in the opening credits. Turns out I was right.
The song is terrible.
The song is horrible.
It's a really awful song. I can't even recall it because I've done a lot of work just in the past 48 hours to block it fully from my brain.
Well, and it's a full-on music video happening while the end credits are rolling to one side of the screen.
Yes. And it's, what is it? Take on Me? Is that the music video that's like, yeah. It's basically like if that were done.
It's got to be the same artist.
Really? I mean, you don't think it's just like, I mean, baby's gonna Google.
I meant to look it up.
It's bad. It's so bad. And
So it's basically they're taking,
yeah.
there's scenes from the film that you just watched.
Yeah.
And they do this horrible, like, epileptic seizure-inducing
Truly.
frame-by-frame flashing between the
Yeah.
film and then an animated version, and then it is until it's fully, it ramps up.
Oh God, I honestly can't imagine, like, if someone, like, did they have, like, seizure warnings back then?
No,
No?
they hadn't been invented yet. Epilepsy
No,
was
I know.
still considered
But-
autism. In DSM -2,
That's, oh God. No, I'm being serious, though.
I have no way of knowing. I have no answer for this.
I feel like in the 90s, people started being like, hey, you know, all that flashy stuff, it's giving us seizures. So maybe give a warning. Which I am reminded of that warning thing.
Oh.
What?
The song is called Love Lives On.
Oh no. What?
It's performed by Joe Cocker.
Who's that? Well, other than a guy with a great name.
You've seen The Wonder Years?
Mm-hmm.
That version of that Beatles song that they use for...
Oh.
What would you do? That's Mr. Cocker.
God, I forgot 100% about that song.
You're welcome.
No wonder I hate the Beatles. No, but the warning thing, it made me remember going to Epcot as a kid. And there was some like weird, like, go inside of a heart ride or something. You know,
Okay.
it's like you are, you know, like a blood cell going through a heart or something like that. And it was like, if you're prone to seizures or you have a bad heart, then you should not be taking this ride. And I was like, so we're going to
That's
see how a
ironic.
heart works. And if you have one that doesn't work right, you are not allowed on this ride. But yeah, like, but anyway, yeah. What are you doing?
I'm trying to look up to see if it's the same artist who did both videos.
Yeah.
You should probably say some more things.
I know, but I'm just like, you know what this feels like? I'm talking while you're on your phone, and it literally just feels like
Every day?
I was gonna say it feels like it feels like we're not even doing a podcast
Well,
right
do you
now.
want to look this up?
I don't even think my
Look, when we left this morning, you said there were 13 breakfast bars in the cupboard.
that is a reference to an actual conversation we overheard in the grocery store, where a husband and a wife, I'm presuming here, were like the boy was mad at the girl.
Oh boy.
I'm assuming cisness here because of
Extreme cis and hetness.
yes,
And whiteness.
cis white
And middle class.
hetero middle class folks in that grocery store. And this is also why I assume married,
all your
because I'm
favorites.
like because I'm like, there's no way that you didn't just go all the way for it. You're like, what the hell? Like, we're cis, we're white, we're middle class, we're heterosexual, might as well get married too. And they're just in the grocery store, and the guy like turns to the girl and he's like, this morning when we left, you said there were 8 breakfast bars. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, there was another time I overheard something magical in the grocery store parking lot where someone was like, you got 3 things of mayo? We might need to get more. And I was like,
No!
what? Of course they were white. I was just like, I almost threw up in the parking lot. Like, I was just like, oh, like, I mean, what could you possibly be doing? I mean, I understand that, like, sometimes you can, is it not yielding any results?
I didn't, yeah.
You get
My
the-
search game is not apparently as Sharp. Mike Patterson is
I
apparently
literally
the
was
name
like,
of the...
my phone isn't even in this room. It is right there. It is right in front of my face.
So Mike Patterson is the person who animated the Aha video. Jury's out on if he did Love Lives On by Joe Cocker.
Yeah.
If you folks want to follow up, it's on you. I've done all I can. I re-listened to John Lithgow on the What the Fuck podcast, or excuse me, W2F with Mark Maron. Who, I'm not here to defend Mark Maron, but it's a good interview.
Yeah.
So check that out.
Back to is John Lithgow is John Lithgow fuckable? And the answer is yes. But like I'm just I want to just go full circle.
Okay.
Remind people.
Nah, all right.
Remind people that that's what we're asking.
But I brought it up mainly because when he says his own name, he says Lithgow.
Lithgow. Oh,
I know. I've never been sure, and I always want to say Gow because there's that W at the end.
Yeah.
That
Lithgow. Lithgow. Okay. I'm learning some things.
I saved that fact just so I could call you out and make you look stupider than me.
Think stupider than you. It's gonna take a lot more than that, baby.
Fair enough. Oh, okay. So I want. I would like to talk about some of the supporting acting in this. Characters and actors. And character actors. We got the nosy, busybody neighbor.
Oh, yeah.
Who's actually pretty great.
Yeah.
What was that?
Ernie's experiment for his science class. He's got one of those gerbils.
Yeah, oh, it's so cute. Only, it's more like,
A hamster.
yeah, only bigger. And it's always hungry.
Nothing more than rats getting a lucky shake from society, if you ask me.
How'd you feel about her? I felt like you...
She's all right. I warmed up at first. I'm like, this trope.
Well, no, I meant like the actor. Like, were you...
Oh, I thought it was a good portrayal, and she did a good job. I'll look up that actor's name. Because it makes for the best podcasting. It's a good thing I took a bunch of notes, so I wouldn't have to do this.
Yeah, I just assumed she was your type, quote unquote, because she's middle-aged and has...
Oh, that's right. It's Lainey Kazan, whose IMDb picture looks like present-day Mickey Rourke. No offense to either party. Oh, also fucking Don Amici.
Well, let me ask you. You being a flatlander, a city fella, you've seen hundreds, thousands of pigeons, right?
Of course.
Have you ever seen a baby pigeon? Well, neither have I. But I got a hunch they exist.
He's great in it.
He is. And Emmett Walsh gets he's billed way up there.
Oh, I
and
know.
is barely in the movie.
Hardly in it.
I wanted King Kong, and you brought me a goddamn giant gerbil.
And then David, I don't know how to pronounce his name. Suchet or Suquet as Jacques Lafleur.
We both spent our whole lives chasing after that beast. And we both had to stare at ourselves in the mirror every morning and keep repeating, I'm not a fool. I'm not a fool. Only you finally blinked.
I just kept thinking of the Looney Tunes character.
Oh, Pepe Le
Jacques
Pew.
Black. What is it? He's French Canadian. He's like a Yukon.
Oh, I don't know if I remember.
Jacques Black Shellac, I think is what it is.
No, that's horrible.
It is, yeah.
That's horrible.
Mm-hmm. Or what's the character? There's a character in Fire Walk with Me who just says, "I'm as blank as a fart." Who's also, I think, supposed to be French Canadian.
Yeah.
Famous French Canadians. And Jacques Lafleur's origin is unclear, but he's got a French accent. And he's like a notorious hunter.
Yeah.
Big game hunter.
Yeah.
He's been hunting
Poacher or something.
Bigfoot
like that,
for decades. I thought when he's first introduced, he's like sniffing, he's like tracking the Bigfoot.
Yeah.
I thought he was going to be the trope of like a Vietnam vet who is living off grid. What?
Your wrist.
My titty baby wrist? Is it distracting you?
No. Your vein was on your wrist.
My vein was on my wrist? Oh my God. Help. Call 911.
No, it was coming out of, like, your vein was like bulging.
And yet, yesterday, when I had to get an IV, they went for the back of the hand.
Yeah.
So angry still.
I swear to God, there's no consistency with, like, how people do IVs. Like, no one knows. Like, they're just like, even though, like, everyone goes through seemingly the same training, they're all just like, well, what are we going to do? We'll see. So that's fun.
Excuse that.
You looked like you were gonna throw up. I've gone through all of my, I mean, to be honest, I don't think we stayed as hard on the fanfic part as I thought we were going to. I thought that was going to take up the majority of the podcast. Just riffing on what kind of fanfic that.
Oh, sorry. I feel like
You're
telling me I let you down.
Basically, I just want you to be more into Bigfoot erotica. I think that's the least you could do. Other than turn up the volume.
I'm already giant and kind of hairy, so I don't.
You are actually not hairy at all. You're very not hairy.
Called out. Fuck. I'm not even as tall as Lithgow.
It's true.
He's
got 3 inches on you.
My favorite, Kevin Peter Hall. R.I.P. Died in 91. It's pretty sad.
Jesus.
Yeah. He was like 35. I read his tweet from AIDS. He got a blood transfusion.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Oh.
A blood transfusion. It's like a transfusion, but not as cold. Okay. Anyway. Yeah. He's either like 6'9" or 7'2". I found. I'm not sure which.
Oh my God. That's always like really fascinating to me when people are like that tall. Not because of like mostly it's like, how do you function? Because like things are not set up for people. Like we have like almost a foot's disparity in our height, and we live very different lives because of it. Like, and I can't imagine like being that tall and like just like trying to rent an apartment.
I know.
Like, Jesus Christ. Like, nothing's just set up for, I mean, like, anybody that's, like, not, between this height and that height is thought about in anything. Like, like, it's the same thing with, like, folks with, like, disabilities or whatever.
Well, right.
Like, nobody thinks of anything outside of the, quote-unquote norm.
Very small window.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, yeah, like, being that tall. What?
I had a former coworker who was 6'4", same height as John Lithgow.
Mm-hmm.
Go. John Lithgow.
John Lithgow. Go.
And he would talk about how it was difficult to find things to fit him.
Oh yeah, and clothes too. And like if you're like thin and that tall too, like things are probably just like you buy pants and they just like go to your knees.
There's just no winning.
You buy extra long pants and they come right up underneath your knees.
Yeah, I mean he would buy basketball shorts, but they look like Magnum PI shorts.
Hubba.
You ain't kidding.
Yeah.
Oh. I wanted to describe this sequence that I don't know why it's in there. It starts with Harry presenting a bunch of flowers to the daughter. I guess
to make up for the orchid. The orchid. I don't
But
know
that
why he does it at
happens
the end.
an hour
Yeah.
later.
It happens like right before, like, so he eats the orchid first thing. Like the first thing he does in their house is like rip apart their fridge and then eat the orchid. And then at like right before they're about to like try to set him free, he rips apart all of that. Well, first of all, he doesn't rip apart. He like cuts them clean. Like
Do we actually see him do that?
we don't see him do that, but like it's very clearly like straight across that they're all cut. Like I don't understand. Like it would make more sense if like, you know, being a Yeti and also like not having scissors in his life, I'm assuming. Not to be presumptuous, but like he lives in the forest. He doesn't have clothes. He, you know,
he's this primitive savage.
And it, like, you know, like he's using what shears to get. Anyway, so he just carries
his
this
arms
whole,
full.
of like roses and gives them.
That's a weird
to
scene,
the
and because
daughter.
it's so far removed
I love it,
from.
though. I think it's so sweet.
Since it's so far removed in time from the orchid.
Yeah,
thing,
it's
I'm
like
what is the message here?
I think the message is that like she like I think it's like I think they do it that far away like to make you think like he's not just like he remembers like he to like
that makes sense.
Yeah,
I just maybe it's a fault of my own memory.
Well,
what have you? My own mental illness of some form or another. That I'm like, is he like sweet on her? Is that is that supposed to be cute?
He's trying to get a date.
But then it goes to cut to the neighbor calling for her landscaper that she calls Kim Chi. And he's like, my name's Kim Lee.
Yeah.
And he's Asian American. And that's it. That's like the whole bit. Like she's yelling for the gardener landscaper guy because all her roses are headless.
Also, she blames him for it.
Yeah,
like,
right.
why would your
Why
gardener
would he do that?
ruin everything that they've worked on?
And I just wanted to bring up racism and give an example of it, so you know it when you see it.
It doesn't just exist now. It existed in the 80s too.
Exactly. I know a lot of people out here on Twitter are trying to tell you that racism just got invented by the left to persecute white people, but
I just need someone to talk to. You know, it hasn't been easy with this pool and everything. And Herb, he's no help. His latest theory is that a condor flew over and took a shit in it.
no, and then I wanted to talk about or bring up how guns are treated in this movie.
Oh my god.
And how like a big part of the penultimate sequence where Harry is in the city. He's like in downtown Seattle or whatever, getting chased by Jacques Lafleur and then cops. And everyone is armed to the teeth
because they have like a bounty out for him.
Oh yeah, that's right.
You know,
that's
they have
right.
So
and Lithgow's dad, played by Emmett Walsh, runs like a fishing and gun show.
Yeah, show
what? Shop.
Yeah.
So and they get flooded once the news gets out that there's a Bigfoot in the area.
Yeah. Oh, I like the part where the guy's like, give me like a gun. Like he's asking for a gun, and Lithgow says, I'll give you a gun with really big bullets.
Got an M16. Anything that goes fully automatic.
Fully automatic is illegal, and it takes 7 days to clear a handgun. I'm afraid if you want a gun right now, it'll have to be a rifle or a shotgun.
Anything with a night scope. Give me the biggest one you got.
Well, we've got some big guns and some big, big guns, but I'm afraid we're all out of big, big ammo. Who's next?
Anyway, so everybody's running around metropolitan Seattle with guns. They're all white, of course.
Well, yeah.
Are there any people of color? Are there any black folks in this movie that you can remember?
Oh, that I can. I mean, there aren't any characters. I don't know.
Well, yeah. Anybody
there,
with
there
lines?
There are people, like, I think in the news crew when
when George
is saying
the...
he's a vegetarian.
yeah. Yeah,
I
that's
think
true.
I think there's
That's true.
They,
But nobody
they're
with
like, we
lines.
need something. Yeah, no, nobody really has
Other
lines.
than Kim Lee.
Yeah.
Played by... No, I'm just kidding. I'm not going to look him up. He has one line.
Well, that's true. Unlike Harry.
And then, okay, so there's
only
just a
has
lot
one
of
line.
people running around with guns, is my point. And then cops often, I mean, there's a few different scenes where, like, Jacques gets surrounded by cops while he's in a dumpster, and he's got a fucking Magnum.
Gun.
Yeah. A 458, I believe. Mm-hmm. Check your IMDb trivia to see if I'm right. I don't remember that because I make a big deal about him buying the ammo for it.
Can I help you?
Probably not. This is the first place I've been. I want some 458 Magnums.
I think we got those in here somewhere. So, yeah, here we are. We don't get much call for these monsters. $28.50 for the box.
And the cops are just like, oh, I'll take that. They just take the gun out of people's hands.
Mm-hmm.
And then, okay, Jacques ends up in jail, but
covered in garbage.
But not dead.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's all.
Because he has a gun.
Race in America, folks. Am I right?
I love all your hot takes. I think what we've learned.
Here's some fun
okay.
trivia.
Okay.
In the States, the marketing before the film's release, none of it showed, like in the trailers or the posters and stuff, print ads, didn't actually show Harry.
Oh, that's smart.
Yeah, it was meant to be a surprise.
Wow.
But they blame that for its poor box office turnout. Like its opening weekend. Like it didn't do well at the box office.
Oh, wow.
So when it got released in the UK and overseas other places, it got called Bigfoot and the Hendersons.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Huh.
And seemingly it did better.
Yeah. I mean, well enough for there to be a fucking TV show for 3 years.
4 years later.
Right. Yeah.
But I wanted also to shout out YouTuber Minty Comedic Arts.
Mm-hmm.
He had a nice, I don't know their pronouns. They had a nice video about 10 things you didn't know.
Oh.
Anyway, they're fun. They make some fun little
cool. That's cool.
movie trivia. You've seen some of them. I think they're from Australia.
Oh, yeah.
And they always wear the Ray-Bans.
They did the one on the Langoliers, right?
Oh, yeah. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Langoliers, check it out.
Yeah. Langoliers. That's another one that as a kid I was like, what? Basically, okay, we'll get into this in another movie that we decided to watch that has this. I don't know what the fuck is wrong with me. This is literally a thing where if I saw a movie as a kid, and as a kid, I mean like any like 10 and up, probably 10, but like little before teen years to teen years. Desperate Measures does this. Langoliers does this. Anything where someone has any kind of injury where their mouth is bloody. I was so fucking like...
You're such a perv.
I don't know what it is. I mean, it's like the kid in Langoliers, but she's just like talking and she just got like blood all in her teeth. And I'm like, this is so fucking...
Not Bronson Pinchot when he's getting the shit kicked out of him.
Oh my God. He's so terrifying in that movie, honestly. Like
he's
he
the
does
best part of
such
that
a
movie.
good performance. Such a good performance. And it's so... And everyone else is just like, what's happening around us? Something's happening around us. What could it possibly be? Click, click. Why do my heels sound weird? And Bronson Pinchot is just like, fuck.
Fuck you, Dad.
Yeah, the whole fucking movie. He's just like dark circles around his eyes and just being like, I want to stab a child. Anybody got one? Oh, good. The one in this movie gets to get stabbed.
Do you think in the book or the story or whatever it's based on, it's explicit that he's doing a lot of coke because he's a high-powered 80s businessman?
Oh man, I wonder. I don't know. I should read that. I haven't read the Langoliers, unfortunately. I'll do that.
Okay.
At some point in
sure.
my life. I'll do that at some point in my life.
Look forward to that podcast.
But yeah, like the like I don't know. I was very much into like bloody mouths. Why was that like
because you're a sick, perverted degenerate.
Well, yeah, but I mean, other than that, why?
No.
Yeah. No, but like Desperate Measures. That was like the scene in the movie that like I wanted.
Save some of that.
I know.
We should probably do one
we
just
should.
for that
Oh
because
my
that
God.
movie is wild.
What? Anyway, yeah. But Harry and the Hendersons it's a lot of fun though. I thought it was so much
It's fun and it's sweet. And
it was sweet. Like I love how
I was surprised that it
holds up.
avoided some pitfalls.
It did. And like, okay, yeah, there's definitely some like weird, like the racist Gardner shit. Like, it's like, I don't understand. Like, this is a thing that's like, it's one of those things that's so confusing to me about like, especially like 80s movies where you would go like the whole movie would be like, like you're like, oh, this is really good, and then they have like one scene that's like literally feels like it was done in post where they're like, we gotta reshoot something, and just like one like very, and it's usually like something like very like racist against Asian folks.
Yeah, in the 80s especially.
In the 80s, yeah, that specifically, where it's just like some weird like one liner making fun of Asian people in the 80s, and you're just like, what? Why is it?
To its credit though, the scene in Harry is it's to make the white lady neighbor look dumb.
It does. Yeah,
he's fine.
He does like
his one line.
He does poon her. He's just
whoa. Yeah.
He's like, you're dumb.
He has a perfectly
like there's nothing
perfect English, no accent.
Yeah, there's no like I mean, who cares if there was, but like it's not that thing where it's like very clearly done.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah. So there but yeah, it's like it feels like a specifically 80s thing where they would be like one scene. There needs to be one specific scene in every 80s movie.
Since we've been on Michael Keaton movies, should we watch Gung Ho?
It's on HBO Max.
Oh boy,
I think, or something. Yeah, what is that? I don't know. It keeps popping up when I search Michael Keaton movies.
If I remember correctly, the premise is that Michael Keaton works at a auto producing factory that gets bought out by a Japanese company.
Oh no! Oh, we might have to watch it.
It's a real cultural clash. Let me tell you.
That sounds horrible.
Yeah.
Michael Keaton, why?
But it's kind of the height of, it's the epitome of, well, I don't know. I haven't seen it in many years, but I think it definitely encapsulates something about that 80s.
Like weird, yeah.
U.S. racism against Japan in particular.
Yeah.
Because Americans don't bother to know the difference between other nations or cultures or distinguish.
Oh God, yeah. Ugh, yeah. Anyway, could talk about that quite extensively.
Oh, I will.
No, like when I worked at the bank, if someone put in a travel notice that they were traveling to Asia, we'd be like, yeah, cool. That one place.
What other continents do you plan on hitting?
They would, Africa and Asia are two places that people would be traveling to, and we'd be like, no, I swear to God, multiple times we'd be like, going to Asia. We'd be like,
that's cool. We'll whitelist you for that whole.
Right. Hey, FYI, that's not a place. Like what? Like that was, I mean, Asia happened less than Africa.
I wish they would just say the global South.
It was always like that would happen. I'd just be like, that's okay. And we like literally, if that happened, we'd just be like, ignore, because you can't like.
What are you gonna do with that?
I'm like, hey, I just want to call and double check you're going to the Asia, like not. Okay. Like,
yeah. What's the country code? If I'm calling out.
Like it's just so it's very very very. There seems to be like no like. People will just be like, I don't need to know about a place that's not America.
Right. And yet you're traveling there?
Right? Like, this is a thing that people bring up just because we're talking about Harry and the Hendersons. And it connects a lot. No, this is a thing where someone, like, brought this up. And I was like, this is such a good thing. Like, when people say the world, they're like, that means more places than just America. If you mean America, say America, but people will reference like America and they'll call it the world because they've never like traveled anywhere else or they've never been anywhere else. And they'll be like, in the world, this happens. And people will be like, that only happens in America.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and it's an interesting thing where like people truly like don't have any kind of like comprehension.
Around the world, African Americans are treated
right. Yeah, exactly. No, literally, like it literally like that kind of thing. Like people will like have no concept.
Well, if I
that...
paraphrase Yoko Ono, woman.
No, that's gonna get cut in post for fuck's sake. The literal worst thing anyone's ever said.
Yeah, the literal worst. Thank you, Yoko. Thanks, Yoko. What happened?
I have to
where'd my
so fucking
Do you want to
bad.
wrap it up or should we break?
I think we should wrap it up.
Okay. Consider
Wait, that reminded me of the time I was in the liquor store and it was like 2 minutes before closing time, but I didn't know that. And the guy said, we're closing in like 2 minutes. And I said, oh gosh, I'm sorry. Should I leave? And he said, no, just, wrap it up. But he did the twirl, the finger twirl above his head. Wrap it up. And he wasn't really even looking at me when he did it, which is my favorite.
God, perfect.
It is like one of my favorite things when someone says something sarcastic at you, but they're not even like looking at you because they can't even be bothered. It's like, oh, thank you. You've done a great service. I will remember this forever. Thank you.
I will
remember this.
Right.
Yeah, that's a great way to wrap it up.
Okay.
Lots of things to cut out of this one.
And add.
Gotta fill up that hour. Yeah, this has been fun. We'll come back with something hopefully.
We've been fun. We've had fun.
Yeah, I've had a lot of fun. We'll come back with something with someone else. Like this one was about John Lithgow.
Okay.
Who, yes, is fuckable. The next one, maybe it'll
Wait,
be...
I haven't voted.
Come on. You wouldn't go
You don't speak for the pod.
Okay, but John Lithgow fuckable?
Yay.
Okay. See? Yeah. Next time will be someone else who may or may not be fuckable. We'll let you know.
Will it be
I mean, hopefully Michael Keaton.
Kevin Peter Hall?
I hope
Anthony Michael Peter Kevin Hall?
I hope to one day talk about the fuckability of Michael Keaton. That's my dream. If I could do one thing, no, I'm kidding. Yeah.
I want to focus more on character actors.
Actors.
In relation to that.
I feel like Michael Keaton was a character actor.
That's fair. He's not. He's one of those.
Batman.
He's
know?
Yeah. No, he's a Kevin Bacon in that regard, where he's like. Yeah. Well, that's not fair to either of them, but I mean, like.
Michael Keaton is a Kevin.
It seems unusual when they're cast as a lead.
Mm-hmm.
That's all. Okay.
Yeah, but see, I just want to say this because Michael Keaton is someone that like he's like fucking 70, or he's gonna be 70 this year, and he gets cast in like the main like as a lead still, which like whatever, but like that like he to me he's kind of a weird. He is like a character actor in the way that he like. Sorry, I felt like I had to burp. I feel like he's more of a like a character actor. Like I'm trying to think of someone. I think this is why I like John
sort of
Lithgow
like the way he approaches
too.
It?
Yeah, like they're the weird they're not they're not fucking conventionally attractive
right.
I mean, Michael Keaton can.
They're not leading man.
Yeah. Right.
Lots of air quotes.
Right, but I mean, not that means anything or doesn't mean it. Whatever.
Right.
But yeah, it's something where I wouldn't I wouldn't expect Michael Keaton to still be getting the lead. You know?
Yeah.
I expect him.
I mean, he can do it. He's obviously.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, he's great, but yeah, it's anyway, whatever. Anyway.
Okay, when we do Michael Keaton, you'll have to talk about
Michael Keaton,
the founder, since you just watched that, and I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's maybe something
This
that'll
is
happen.
great. This is great. We've done a great job. We'll see you next week and to talk about how much I want to bone Michael Keaton.
Slow down with the promises.
Then after that, it'll be Laurie Metcalf.
Your checkbook is writing promises that your heart cannot cash. Laurie Metcalf, what? Richard Jenkins?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
No, there's nothing else. Okay. We'll see you
3, 2, 1,
later.
contact.
Take care of yourself now, okay?
Okay.
You touched my life and turned my heart around. It seems when I found you, it was me I really found. You opened my eyes and now my soul looking